Appreciate you.
No problem. Welcome back to another episode of the Student Athlete Sessions. Today we are joined by a guy with a D3 to pro story that you're going to want to hear. His
Yes,
name's
sir.
Duane Goodman Jr.
Yes,
He's
sir.
you know, he found a D3 school after a career that was seems like interrupted by COVID, as many other players were. But now having a great pro career, we're going to get into how he made that all happen. But Duane, welcome to the program.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I've been looking at a whole bunch of your stuff and love the content and everything. So appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I always like to start out. Just tell the listeners where you are, where you're calling in from right now.
Okay. So currently right now I'm playing in Malta. It's the top division here in Malta. It's in like the Mediterranean, kind of off the coast of Sicily and in Africa. So it's right in the middle, a little island. Yeah, this is my third year overseas right now.
Right. And what is it like as a to live on an island in the Mediterranean? How's that?
Ooh, beautiful. Today it was like 70 degrees, and this is like the winter time. 70 degrees is crazy. So it's a blessing, and you get to do what I love and what I work so hard for. You know what I'm saying? So hey, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had previous stops in your pro career. I know you played in Georgia. Was it 2 years in Georgia and then off to Malta?
So I played first. So it's a crazy story. I'm not sure we'll get into it, but I played the second division first, and then after 2 games, I got moved up to the first division in Georgia, which is like a really good league. And most people who come from like Division 3 or not like an All American, they don't get to like top league Georgia. So it's like it was like preparation and luck too, and got there and yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's hear that story because I think so many players from the Division 3 level kind of encounter these little weird elements. I've heard it maybe in Spain where you kind of play well and all of a sudden you get pulled up or like you get taken off a team or so like what happened in your situation?
Okay, so it's crazy because prior, so after my senior year in college, I know we probably won't get into that, but after college, I didn't have anything going from overseas. I didn't hear from no agencies. Nobody wanted to pick me up. I wasn't like a highly touted D3 player. And for a year and a half, I heard nothing. I was cold calling, I was texting, DMing like 100 teams a day, and that's no exaggeration. Like every single day, because as you know, for Division 1, Division 2, it's pretty. I'm not saying it's easy, but they look at those players like, okay, those are the top of the top players from America, so let's get them. But for me going D3, and I wasn't an All American, I wasn't even All Conference, so it was just kind of like I'm fighting an uphill battle every single day. So just working, 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 and this guy seen my content and seen me always working out on my Instagram, and he was just like, "Hey, I think you're ready for this opportunity. It's unpaid, starting out. We just give you a place to live. If you want to play, all right, come on." And I went, and I was like, you know what? I never heard of Georgia. I didn't even know where I was staying. It was scary, but I was like, bro, this I don't have much to really work with. I gotta take it.
Yeah.
And, and then I went to Georgia. It was rough, man. It was rough. Like it was like bugs on me and all that and all that stuff. But hey, made it work. And my first game, I scored 27 points, had 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Just first ever pro game. And the next game I had 27 again, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. So I just stayed ready. You know what I'm saying? Like all the year and a half of no's and everybody saying no to me. And then to finally get my chances and I performed, it was good. And then so going back to that, so after the second game, we got put out the qualifying games because that's what it was. So in Georgia, they had this thing called the A-League qualifiers, and one team can qualify for the second division. So our team was trying to play in. So we was in the last round. And so I had the 2 games, it was really good. And we lost, so we couldn't play. So it was like, all right, everybody got to find their way back home. So my 2 teammates were like, hey, my flight's already packed, booked, and all that, boom, boom, boom. And then this one of the players on my team said, hey, the top team in Georgia want to have a conversation with you. It's TSU. And TSU is like one of the most like renowned and known teams in Georgia. And so I was like, they want to talk to me. I had a conversation with them. They was like, hey, if you want to take this offer, hey, you can leave tonight. So I accepted it, and yeah. Story
So it
told.
wasn't even from an agent, it was just from your teammate having some kind of connection. That's wild.
Yeah, and even getting out to Georgia, it was a guy that I played in college, and he had a connection because he used to play in Georgia, and he said, "Hey, one of my old teammates, he's having a team, and you can take it if you want to. It's official stats. Hey, it's a leap of faith because it wasn't paid. Like, and I didn't know how much money I was getting, if I was gonna get paid at all. But for my dream, I just had to do it. So I just
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, and then there's so many takeaways in there for kids who are listening and want to follow in your footsteps, not only to play pro, but also play in college. Like you're a year and a half of continuing to put in work and, like you said, being ready for the opportunity, and then go back to back, have 27 points. Like that doesn't happen by accident. That happens by consistent effort, and whether it's emailing a bunch of coaches to get that first college opportunity, or trying to get that pro chance. Like I think that's a great message to never, if it is your goal, never like stop doing the incremental work that you need to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think that's powerful that you say that because I think a lot of times people they'll like judge their success based off somebody else. Like, of course, when as a college hooper, like both of us, we know like, okay, I want to play this level, I want to play this level. But then you see, dang, I averaged, I don't know, I didn't average that much, like maybe 10 points. Like my senior year, I averaged 12, and it's how can I go overseas? And this kid, he averaged 20, he didn't get overseas. And I think it's just staying down to what you know. If you know that you have the work ethic, if you know that you're gonna make a way, if you're gonna make the calls every single day, if you get 10,000 no's, you're gonna keep going like that. Yes is the next one. And so it's just about just pushing through every single day, every single day. So yeah, it's powerful for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Well, let's get into your college experience, because I know you ended up at a Division III school called Knox College out in Illinois. You
yes,
grew
sir.
up in Charlotte. So, but there were a lot of steps in between there, and of course, we talked about COVID already. Walk us through you're a high schooler in Charlotte. What was your mindset like as a recruit, and how did you think about playing your sport in college?
Okay. So in high school, um, mind you, I was probably about 5'8". That was my senior year. I was 5'8", right? While I was going through high school, I didn't make my ninth grade team or my 10th grade team. And my ninth grade year, I only got on the team because I paid for team camp. So it was like, so here you go. So I only had my 11th and 12th grade years to really perform. And so growing up in North Carolina, it's hoopers. Like Dennis Smith Jr. was in my class. Who else? Davion Mintz. He went to North Mech, and it was guys who was just like offers just flying out for them,
Yeah.
And so when you think of Charlotte, you think of those guys because they're the 6'3s and they're dunking and doing all that. And then you look at a guy like me who I didn't make my ninth and 10th grade year high school team. So now it's like, okay, boom, like, am I even good enough? And so, fast forward, he's just always working out, working out. Me and my dad did two to three workouts every single day because he was like, do you want to make varsity one day? I was like, yes. So we did 2 to 3 workouts every day. I ended up going to Queens Grant. This was a high school in Charlotte, and made all state and averaged like 16 points. My first year ever playing school ball. And so, keep on going. Like I said, always working out, working out. Then going into college, I went to Combine Academy for a prep school year because my senior year, I didn't have anything, right? And so Combine Academy, post grad, and did really good. Had a whole bunch of games with 30 plus games, 30-point games and stuff against Hargrave, Oak Hill. It was really good. And then even after Combine, no offers. I had a couple of walk-on opportunities at low Division ones and stuff, but none of them pulled the trigger. And this one school called Green Mountain College was a school in Vermont, Division III at the time. And he was just like, hey, you can't offer no money, of course, but you can come here, academics, and you can play basketball. And I committed on the spot. I was on the phone with him. He said, "Do you need time?" I said, "No, I don't need no time. We're just gonna we're just gonna get
We
into
can do
it.
that. We can do it right now.
We can do it right now." Shout out Coach Ben, because Coach Ben believed in me when nobody else did. And yeah, it's crazy. Being in Vermont is like never even heard of Vermont, but went up there and yeah, and kept on going. Got to a Division II after Green Mountain College because that school had closed down. But
Yeah.
while I was there, did really good. Got Defensive Player of the Year for the region and stuff, and um, went to Minot State for Division II, and then I went to Knox College, and
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little timeline,
Yeah. I mean, I think I love the story of getting cut because it's like it happens to a lot of people. I talked to a family this week who, the mom was all concerned. She's like, "Oh, my son just got cut. Do you think he has any chance of playing in college?" I said, "Yeah, like 100%. You can still do it. It just depends on how you respond to that action in your life." And like I think in your situation, like you said, you're doing 2 to 3 workouts a day with your dad. You're locked in. You're still focused on this. You bet on yourself. You take the prep year at combine. Like I think all those steps, all it is how you respond, right? Because sometimes, like you mentioned, like the level of play around you, especially in Charlotte, I felt that like I barely made my JV team my freshman year. Like I was the last day after like a 25-day tryout, they hand me the jersey instead of someone else. Like that could have completely changed my life, if all of a sudden I don't get that jersey. So it's and then of course I didn't play. So it's a testament to that both of us, barely making a dent early on in our college careers end up being college players.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like you said, there's always a way. Like if you have the drive for it, there's always a way. And I think when people think of D3, they think of like, oh, my basketball career is over. And I think D3 hoopers are like making a wave. I don't know this guy personally, but I seen him in the TBT tournament, Ty Nichols, like hooping. Like he's doing his thing, and so like even from there, like you make people remember your name, like, and so D3 hoopers can really go like, and it's a testament to like, we're going to grind it out, and make it happen. And, if you're willing to do it, it can happen. You can get to a school.
Right.
Yeah.
And beyond that, like you're doing like Ty is doing Ty's over there in Greece playing well. Uh, you're in Malta, as we talked about, with earning your spots in these foreign countries. And like when it goes beyond college recruiting, it's like in Europe in the pro leagues, it's very much you like, can you play? And if you can, then you will probably get an opportunity. Um, and you gotta obviously perform in that spotlight. But yeah, like you said, I think a lot of D3 players are changing the narrative, especially of late, because there's more eyeballs on it. There's more visibility in terms of what they can actually do. But
Yes.
I'm
And
curious. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to ask because, a lot of times we get questioned on like, how do you know what level you are, right? Like, how do you evaluate what level is right for you? And as someone who played D3 and D2, what would you kind of say those differences are, and how would you advise a kid who's in high school on like how to fit their own level?
Wow. That's okay. I like, all right. All right. See, you're good at this. You're good at this. So I would say, of course, like, okay, I'll take it back to combine. So when I was at combine, this coach named Matt Jones, great coach. He's a coach in overseas and everything. Like he was on Adidas tours in high school and stuff. And so he told me, like, Duane, you're a really good D2 player. Mind you, at this time, I thought I was D1. Like I was getting 30 points. I had 16 on Hargrave. I thought I was the man. I said, Coach, I'm definitely D1, right? And he was just saying, like, it's not about like your skill level. It's more about like your intangibles. Like, what do you provide for a team, right? Like, for example, growing up, I had to do the dirty work, right? So for me, defense energy was huge for me, right? And so he was saying at D2 level, a lot of that stuff is very much like put on like a high, reward, gift, all that stuff. So I would say for a lot of players out there, not to look at like what you aspire to be, but like what is your skill set? What can you bring to a team? So if you are the energy guy, you know what I'm saying, you might have to say, okay, like, all right, think about Division 3, boom. Now, if you're in a space where you're like physically like gifted in terms of height, strength, okay, you can start looking at the D1s and the D2s, but for the most part, it's just understanding like what your play style is and what your player type is, and yeah, I would definitely say in terms of the D3 to D2 differences, D3 is a lot of more like people are playing just like, okay, I like basketball, right? And D2 is more like IQ wise. So in Minot State, we was in the NSIC, which is like one of the best D2 conferences in the country. And every team was smart. You come off the ball screen, you got to know the lift, right? If you are the opposite wing and the ball screen's happening on the other wing, you need to know the dive, especially if it's an ice coverage. Stuff like that. When I went to D2, I was lost. I was completely lost. For the first 2 months, I didn't know a thing. So I would say from D3, it was kind of like, okay, if you can hoop, you can hoop. D2 is like, you can hoop a little bit, but like now the attention to detail for the film studies and knowing your tendencies, knowing which spots on the court can that person shoot from, knowing when to, it was, I would say
It was deeper. It was a increased depth of like you need a knowledge that you needed to have in before every game.
for sure, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. And I think the last thing I'll probably say about that was like we talked about, a lot of my workouts and stuff was all predicated on myself. So I did a whole bunch of off the dribble stuff, come off the screen, shots. When I went to Minot State, the coach said, hey, we already have two dominant ball handlers. You got to play off the ball. I never had to play off the ball ever, especially when my success in basketball, I never played off the ball. So learning how to pick up on that fast is a premium, So a lot of players out there don't get so caught up on just doing like off the dribble stuff, all the dribble stuff. You got to work on your conditioning. You got to watch basketball, know how to come off a down screen, know how to come off of a flare, know when to dive, knowing when to do things because you may not get the opportunity to be the main ball handler and stuff. And also, if you can pick up on that really fast, you're going to play before that next person who may be talented more than you. But if your IQ is there, like you can go D2, D1, and overseas. It's the details that really takes you over the top, I would say.
For sure. And I think at any level or any sport, what you're talking about is like being adaptable and being able to like adjust to a team need. Like you talk about playing defense, like that's going to be valued at any level, at any sport, and that'll get you on the court. But then also like you said, the willingness to like, all right, I thought I was a primary ball handler. Let me switch to being, a two guard and play off ball and see what I can do and like adjust your skill set. I think that's an important thing to have the humility to say like, okay, coach is right. Like, let me help the team versus like needing to preserve some sort of like, no, that's not who I am. That's not how I play type of mentality, which I think is hard for some people because it's all they've known. Um, so yeah, I can see as we go through your career, I can see why it worked out for you. I'm sure a lot of times I think as humans, it's natural. We like stories. We like very clean narratives to say like, oh, Duane was a good player, so he played in college and now he's playing pro. And I think like under the surface, it's always much messier. And like it took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of adaptability to get not only get these opportunities, but then make the most of them and actually earn them on your side. So it's helpful to see that full story.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think what you said. Sorry to cut you off, but um, in terms of like being able to do that, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to Coach Merkin. He was at a D2 at Minot State. He was a coach there when I went there, and he wanted me to adapt really fast, and he expected me to fill that role, right? And one game, we played at St. Cloud, and he told me, if I don't have the shot, if I can't drive, pass it, right? Because me, I started feeling myself. I was playing 35 minutes a game. I was doing really good in my past games. I try to dribble, try to, create my own shot because I used to that. After that game, he said, sit down, you're not playing no more. And I didn't, and I had DNPs for like 5 games in a row. But he didn't understand that that helped my career more than anything. Was knowing what the team needed is more important than what you want for your career, And especially if you want to be successful in college, if you want to play, if you're not doing what the coach says, he's going to sit you down, And also understand that your contract, well, not your contract, but your like player agreement is only for 1 year. It's 1 year. It's every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I would just say, like, wherever you go, understand what that coach wants from you. Like, okay, what play style you want from me, coach? And then from there, you'll understand, okay, I got to adapt to this. I got to be ready for this, or else I'm not going to play. So,
Yeah.
Coach Merkin, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so something that always comes up, people when they like you talked about it yourself, like, and I grew up the same way in North Carolina. I was like, I was 6 years old. I was like, I'm gonna play for the Tar Heels when I'm in college, right? And you're like, you're even at combine, you're like, I'm gonna be a D1 player. Like, we have this glorification of that level, and I think of scholarship athletics. So like even D2 would fall into that category. But I'm curious, like in your journey again, because you played at D3 and D2, and at Green Mountain College, the coach said, we can't. There's no athletic money. We can't give you that. How did finances work? Like when you went to you said Mino State, right? Is how you pronounce it?
Might not stay. Yeah.
Minot State. When you went there, did you get put on an athletic scholarship, or did you have to earn it? What did that look like?
So yeah, it was I got an athletic scholarship, and I got a like refund for like the grant, like Pell Grant. I was eligible for it, and that was the first time that I got money back. Because coming from Division 3, it was pay out of pocket, or you got to pay 10,000 or 20,000 or however much, and I was on a lot of loans. My first 2 years when I went to Green Mountain, so going to Minot State, I'm having money come back to me. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Like I can buy stuff. I can buy food. Like
Yeah,
you know, like it sounds crazy because the NIL right now is so crazy and players is making $10 million a year,
millions. Yeah,
millions. So it's like when you go to a place where you can actually receive that, it's like, wow, this is like amazing. So yeah, that's how it works. They pay for like your books, um, your housing if you stay on campus. If you want to do like off campus, some schools just say, hey, like your refund check, you just do whatever you want to. You can get your own apartment. But they pay for your on campus, they pay for your books. And then most teams have sponsors. So we got sponsored meals. They gave us food for the locker rooms, and yeah, it was a vibe. It was a vibe for sure. Yeah. So
nice.
yeah.
And then how did that compare to Knox? Like, so you went from D3 to D2 to this setup, and then you went back to D3. Were you
Yeah.
were you able to get some financial aid at Knox that helped make it easier, or were you back on having to take loans to play?
Man, we was back at it. We was right back to the loans again.
Yeah,
We got loans, but the good part was I was able to get a job. At my D3 at Knox. I took on some work on athletic events, work at the gym, clean
yeah,
up, doing tutorial work, and like you said, D3 is a grind. You got to make a way. You're not as lucky to have the refund check come back to you. So you might have to work as an RA. When I was at Green Mountain, I was an RA. That's how I got my free room and board. So going back to Knox, it was just grind it out. How can you make some money? Talk to the financial aid office. Hey, can I do this? If I take this class, am I able to do this job? And so at Knox, that's what I did. I had to work job to job and figure it out.
yeah. Find the combination that makes it happen for you. And those
Yeah.
student jobs, like you're talking about, like I was a I was a note taker in one of my classes. So like I would go to the
Wow.
class I already was supposed to take and just take really neat notes and then photocopy them and then send them to the Office of Student Disability. And like for you, it sounds like you got to go to the gym or like go to a sporting event and that
Yeah.
was your work, like there are ways to make it fun.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, one thing I will say though, my last year, so after the COVID time, it was rough, but it did help with financial because they discounted a lot of stuff. Shout out to financial aid, Knox College. But that was the first time where NIL deals. I mean, obviously it wouldn't impact D3 as much, like other schools get paid and stuff, but I took on a lot of NIL deals in terms of like trying to just find a way to make money, find a way to fuel myself with like rehab recovery equipment. And yeah, I did like 10 NIL deals my senior year.
Nice.
Just, yeah.
What did you do? Like, what was effective in getting those deals? Because I feel like a lot of kids reach out, but they don't get much back. Like, what did you do to get those 10?
Oh my gosh. Okay. All the kids, I need everybody to listen. So the first thing that I did, especially getting to college, was post everything. Post your content, post your journey, post everything because these brands, they want to get behind the story, right? I think a lot of kids, they see the NIL deals and they say, "Oh, I can definitely get that. I'm averaging 30 points, or I'm doing this, I'm doing that," but not realizing brands don't care about basketball. They want to know, how are you as a person? How's your personality? So on my Instagram page, I posted a lot of my workouts. I posted when I had a good game in basketball. I posted like funny times with basketball. Like I posted relatable basketball memes and stuff. And like brands wanted to buy into me. So they were like, "Hey, we'll give you this product if you know what I'm saying, you do like 2 story posts and stuff like that." And yeah. And also too, it's if they reach out, if they don't reach out to you, you can reach out to them because you've leveraged enough content saying, "Hey, this is my style of content. This is the level of energy I give. Here you go. Now you can do something with this if you want." I'm
Right.
telling you, it's like a lot of kids need to hear that and not being in that space of like, "Oh, I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard. I don't want to look weird if I post too much content."
Yeah.
If you post it, it pays. It pays great. I'm telling you, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I
So,
love that. It's good. It's a good message. What was your favorite deal that you signed?
oh my gosh. It's a recovery brand called Reathlete. Shout out to them. Yeah, yeah. They gave me like money is cool, but they gave me like a lot of recovery equipment, like leg boots, muscle recovery stuff, hand massager. It's on my Instagram page now. Like I've done a lot of Reathlete deals, and they were my favorite because they understood the level of energy I gave, and they cared a lot. And
Hmm.
that was my favorite for sure. Like, yeah, yeah. So,
Find that alignment between like not just any product, but like something that you actually care about and something that gives you, they give it back.
mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that.
Mhm.
Good
Exactly.
message for kids out there.
So,
D3 NIL can work. Are you still doing stuff with them now as a pro athlete?
I did a deal this summer with them. I promoted their hand. They have a hand massager. I promoted it. I actually used it a lot. I'm not gonna lie. Like I only do deals with brands that I actually believe in. Like I actually love, because there's of course there's deals out here you can do and stuff, but it's like um, you know, you got to do something that actually like you have energy behind. You don't want to fake like a vibe because people can tell when you're faking a brand deal and it's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, do this sports gambling thing." Like it's a bro, it's not genuine. So
Yeah,
I say, yeah, just be as genuine as possible so that you can, give good content. And yeah.
for sure. And I also want to talk about because you used your name to build this brand of the clothing you're wearing right now. You got Goody World on. Uh,
So,
and I know there's a deeper message there. So like what went into building that and what are you trying to share with that brand with Goody World?
so with Goody World, it all started because in college, with I had a lot of dilemmas with like depression and anxiety, and it was really bad for me. And as a D3 athlete, when you're dealing with financials, you're trying to figure out basketball, you're trying to figure out school, because D3 is very rigorous studies. It's hard. Like Knox College was definitely hard, and so everything in mind is going crazy. And so Goody World, I made it because I wanted everybody who wears my brand to remind themselves, like, to put yourself in another place. So Goody World is like another place, like while you're in like your spaces, your environment, whatever it is. And I always try to have positive messages on all my clothes, especially like on this right here on the pocket, it's like a love and it's like a peace sign, So it's things I always try to put on all my clothes that signifies like, hey, you're not alone. It's your reminder. If you look down, it's going to be a mental health positivity. And especially as athletes or just people in general, like life can get hard, and especially when you're pushing for something in life and it just doesn't work out, it's like, okay, I don't know what's going on, and I just make Goody World so maybe one person can just look down and just be like, you know what, I can keep going, or you know what, I can live another day. And that's the most powerful thing. And when somebody told me that when they bought my clothes, like it helped them not like do it, I was like, wow, like that meant a lot. And that was the whole sole purpose of me making Goody World, is to help people get to the next day.
Yeah, saving lives. And it's a great message because like you said, like I mean, school is hard, and when you're a kid, when you're in college, like you said, you're trying to perform, you're trying to like accomplish something, but a lot of times you do feel alone, especially when you're not performing. Like for you, you're from Charlotte, so you're far away from your family in Vermont and in Illinois, and like you have a bad night shooting the basketball, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm pretty down on myself. Like I went through the same things, and it's hard. Obviously, you have your teammates, but it's hard to remember sometimes that like things are good. You still got so much going for you. And I think that's just a great message to be sharing with people. And like you said, you've already created that impact in the real world. So
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. You are too, man. This right here is like something I look forward to. Just talking D3 hoops and just like, what I'm saying, like talking with somebody who's also from North Carolina area is, like you're impacting lives too. And I just want to give you your flowers. I appreciate you giving me this opportunity as well. So thank you so much.
yeah, I appreciate you, man. That's fun. It's good to have you on. I've been, like I said, once I saw you're from Charlotte, I was like, and I D3 Hooper, and you're playing pro. I'm like, we gotta get them on. So
Oh, for sure, for sure. Hey, I'm always down, ready to talk hoops and whatever, and anything. What I'm saying, I'm always here for sure. Yes, sir.
yeah, yeah. Well, maybe we'll have to do a follow-up episode to see where your pro career takes you. Obviously, maybe not every spot will be as lovely as 70-degree and sunny in the winter in Malta, but
Right.
I do want to close with the question we ask everyone. Dwayne, if you could go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, so you're coming out of college, high school, what advice would you give yourself?
Okay. Dang. Um, I would say don't worry about the next step and just keep walking. Um, I think it's always easy for us to just look at where we're going and be like, okay, like me working out is not doing anything. Like me doing 20 push-ups is not doing anything, right? But just having the faith to just keep walking, no matter what it looks like. Like, don't look at your next step and say, is it going somewhere? Is it going somewhere? Just have the notion that every good habit is going to build to what you want to do in life. So maybe it may have you turn down a path where it doesn't have a road. Maybe it's a whole bunch of tall grass. Sometimes you gotta just go straight through it and figure it out. It may not be the best way. Okay, reroute, figure out something else, but always keep going and never give up on what your purpose and what you're driven toward. So if I can tell my younger self, that is just keep going and don't worry about what's going to happen next.
Yeah, beautiful message. All right, man. Well, Dwayne, thanks for joining the program. This has been fun. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I would just say everybody who's pushing for your goals, don't look at the next person. Just love where you're at. Push as much as you can in your current season, and make the most out of it. And no matter where you start, like I was a guy who wasn't all conference. I wasn't all American. I didn't average the most points. But I'm in my year 3 overseas and making a way, making money for my family, and making a name for myself everywhere I go. So don't worry about the next person, worry about yourself and just keep pushing. And that's what I say.
That's what's up. All right, you can follow him on Instagram. You can get his journey firsthand. Duane Goodman Jr. Check him out there. Follow along with his career over in Malta. And if you want more episodes of the Student Athlete Sessions, check them out, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen. And as always, let us know who you want us to talk to next. Duane, thanks for joining, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. See y'all later, y'all.